Welcome back to Teach Me How to Be a Witch, where we are
Learning.
teaching us and not you,
No,
because
we are learning.
will teach you wrong. We're going to do a couple of things today. We have already done one. We did our first spell today.
Never done a spell. That was fun. It's a little scary, but
it's scary in that
I have no idea what I'm doing.
We don't know if we're doing it right or wrong and if it's going to work. And the only way to find that out is if we get the desired result.
But the intention were set. The spell went well. I think that we didn't crack jokes. We were very...
No, it was very... But it wasn't something that is funny.
No. No, I think protection spells are not a joke, and so it wasn't meant to be fun.
And I think the reason that we did it didn't need to be...
I agree. But we want to show you our protection
This is our protection spell jar. Oh, I was just gesturing.
Just don't drop her.
So there are a lot of things in here, a little bit of which we will talk about today. But I think we hadn't really intended to do spells so quickly.
No.
Because I at least want to have a better understanding of what we're doing and how to go about doing it, and the words that you say and the mannerisms, and
how to not.
But I did find a new book this time. And it's got much more detail, so it leaves me with fewer questions. I still have some questions. It's still not as much detail as I wanted, but it's more detailed than the last, and I think we got a lot of information out of it, and I think that information was very useful for the spell that we did today.
Doing it.
And I think it made us a bit more comfortable knowing those things.
Absolutely.
Instead of freaking out a little bit because we're doing a spell so quickly. But the other thing that we're going to do today is a pendulum. We're going to try our hand at a pendulum. Well, the training of one.
Yes. And
because you have to train it first.
Pendulum right now because she's picked this one, and so she's going to test it out. But it'll be fun. We have no idea how pendulum swinging works, how to use it.
So I think we'll get into that.
It'll be fun.
So let's talk about this spell casting.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yes.
Because it sort of seems like a bunch of hocus pocus.
Well,
but
the intention and the manifestation, I think, is part of it. If you only say the words and you only do the actions of collecting the pieces and putting them in a jar and sealing the jar, and you have no intentions and you don't return to that manifestation period that you felt, I think that you're not going to get any. It is just going to be a bunch of hocus pocus. You're not going to get anything out of it.
Yeah, and I think that it does fall with how you feel and what you're putting into what you put into the jar.
But I think that you have to keep returning to that spell because the universe doesn't just do things for you.
No, and you have to be very specific with what you're asking for, because that's what I keep reading is that, like, all of it's funny, in the book the newest book I was just reading, she compares it to, like, folklore in our childhoods where, like, you ask for sleep and then you wake up, like, 100 years later.
Okay.
And it's like some Rumpelstiltskin shit.
Right. You have to be like, I want to sleep until I'm rested, or I want to sleep.
Right, you have to be very specific in what you're asking for, because you could be presented with asking for gold and everything you touch turns to gold now. So
right.
I am learning that you have to be very, very direct and very, very specific in what you are asking for and what you expect out of this, because otherwise it'll give you something that you decidedly did not ask for.
Or it will take forever. Because you didn't give a timeline, you didn't give a reference point. You didn't
say, I could be 65 years old before my spell works.
But that's not what I'm looking for. I want something more quickly in that sense.
And I would like to believe that the way that we did this is kind of like an immediate effect.
I agree. I would think so too. There's a lot of pieces that are all happening for this puzzle, And so this is kind of just that icing on the cake to make sure that everything continues working well, because I don't want any balls to get dropped. So if we can keep this little protection spell here, then maybe my little blanket of safety will stay put.
Well, and your blanket of safety isn't entirely dependent on these rules for the spell being loose suggestions.
Right.
Because again, it says Himalayan salt, right? But in every other spell that we've ever seen, it just says use what you have, and I don't happen to have Himalayan salt
Well, you're not
this
that
time.
Well,
I mean, I have. We just don't currently have any.
My household has it. I just forgot it.
So we used kosher salt.
What we have, which is what.
So let's hope that that is good enough, right? And it doesn't tell you. It tells you to wax the jar closed, right? Well,
for those of us that weren't born in 1600, I don't know how to wax something closed.
I mean, I feel like we did it.
We did.
However, this jar could still come off of, or this lid could still come off of this jar because it's not. But I was like making a mess.
And it.
Like, are you supposed to put? Well, maybe we could have put parchment paper down that one. See, they don't tell you this stuff.
There's no.
There needs to be somebody that, like, listen, side note, put some parchment paper down because then you can sufficiently wax something closed without
you need
making
a really
a giant mess.
To do it, or you need to have.
Well, it needs to produce a lot of wax. Otherwise, it'll take you an entire lifetime.
Right.
If you have like this, like a birthday cake candle, which by the way you can use in a spell. Apparently, there's one that specifically refers to a blue birthday candle.
From a birthday cake. Did you buy it at Fry's?
Yeah.
Or Kroger, or wherever the hell you
wherever
shop.
It is that you shop, they have birthday candles.
Yes. And you can use
and there's a blue one, and you can use that.
But I agree with you. All of the books, everything that I've read says that use what you have. So you don't have to go out and buy the things if you intend this object to be used for something, then make it the intention.
Right.
And that is now the intention.
Make it blue.
Make
it
pink.
pink.
Make it blue.
It is what you see it as.
I guess that's magic, though. Like, that's the part that you're just supposed to believe. Like, you're looking at me like I'm the crazy.
Listen, I listened to that podcast and this woman talking about fairies, and I'm done
with this.
Then put it out.
Okay. You don't want to do this?
I don't. No, I am very high. Thank you. Miss Betty and I are very good friends. So I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
I love the purple candle in front of the crystal ball. I think it's my favorite part right now. Anyways, so we used the salts. We had gotten a bunch of different, hold please, herbs and things, and they still have their little directions and what they are used for on them. So as we put them into the jar, we said that out loud.
Which I think is supposed to help.
I think
saying it out loud.
All of these things being.
What do I know?
Well,
they don't tell you that.
We've read lots of books.
They tell you to like put it in there, and they just don't tell you. Lots is an.
We've read a good amount, and different authors, different types of
different information from different places.
Witches,
but that's witchcraft, as it turns out.
Yes, apparently.
It's a lot of shit from a lot of places, and it's just
sometimes it's overwhelming because it's like, okay.
Sometimes, most of the time. Sometimes, she says, "No, ma'am, I don't think so, Tim." In every last one of these, I'm like, but you said the same thing as the last one.
The last one said.
Or the last one. We ran into that today with this spell. It was like, okay, so you always want to call the corners or the quarters. You get to pick whichever one you like.
And I like to use the word elements because I feel like corners.
Calling me elements.
Yes, quarters, there's 4 of them, so I'll give you that word. But corners I don't like that.
But see, when you say quarters, it makes me think for some reason of all of the ways that you use quarters in life, the word quarters. This one,
like with the T, quarters.
quarters.
Okay.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
Okay.
there's multiple definitions for the word quarters, right?
Yes.
For some reason, in this context only, it makes me feel, or it makes me think of being drawn and quartered.
Oh my god.
And
Okay.
I just don't.
I'd like to use the word elements. Is
Okay.
that like a fair?
I'll buy that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Let's use elements as long as
Okay.
it's not quarters.
So bad. So bad.
In this context only is the only.
I'm like,
I
don't
never
I've
think
ever
of that.
said drawn and quartered before.
I don't. It's not a staple
Not
in my
part of
life.
my
I don't talk
vocabulary.
about it. I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. But for some reason, in this context,
Okay.
it
We're not gonna do that.
shows up in the old noodle as drawn and quartered, and I'm like, no, I
Can't.
So we can have corners or we can have elements, but it's not quarters. We don't have quarters.
This bitch. No, we call them the elements, and then.
Oh, but in the one spell, it tells us to go
Right.
to always go in this very specific order. But in this spell, it's like, nope, you start here and end here, which is not the same as this. You should always do it. So it's like, well.
But that one was a protection spell specifically.
So we did it that way.
Yeah. We felt like that with the protection spell, if that's what it called for, then that's what we should do. Or use. I mean, it didn't call for a lot of different objects, so we kind of did that ourselves.
Yeah, most of that big old
that
stuffed bag was put into the jar.
Yes.
Little bits at a time. She doesn't, necessarily need a whole bag of all of this, but like, a little of this and a little of that. Because they don't give you measurements of anything.
No. And then jasmine leaves and poinsettia leaves are both supposed to be protection, and the poinsettia is supposed to be.
So you make it up along the way.
Yeah, basically I did. And then we put a few stones in there to represent what we wanted out of it and what we wanted.
We probably should write down what we put in that jar.
Probably.
I feel like we should know that.
I actually think that we should write the specific what we did in our grimoire.
Okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah, I think that we should do that. I think as we do spells and as we do things, we need to write it down in our grimoire, because the podcast that I'm currently listening to that you didn't like so much, I like a lot. So I continued on with. But they talk about how they make their own grimoires as well. They go out and they'll buy a couple to start out with, and then they'll just make their own. And they've got, this woman's been doing it for like 30 years, and she's got like.
You know what I don't like about the grimoires that I've seen so far? All handful of them.
Okay.
The pages don't have any lines on them.
So, but that's supposed to be, because I'm struggling with that in my head too. I need the lines. I don't write it a straight line. I'm gonna angle the whole damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we're not supposed to have lines. I think it's supposed to be like that. I think that we're supposed to put, because the woman talks.
I don't like it.
Well, then don't have one without lines.
I think that's garbage.
Use the lines.
Okay, listen.
I'm gonna show you the grimoire now. This is the first one. Don't judge. Just not match.
You're gonna call this of all things, of all of the things in all of the places, you're gonna call this a grimoire.
Well, I don't.
That's not a word that I would use to describe this particular thing. But you know what? It's got lines on the pages.
And then we use it. We use it. And then I'll get one that doesn't have lines on the pages. Because I want to put herbs.
I will tell you right now.
Things in it.
I will never learn how to write in a book that doesn't have lines on the pages.
I'm probably not going to write in a straight line. I will probably turn the book so that everything is sideways, so that it's more like appealing, but it's okay.
So you have to read the book like
at an angle?
Picture book?
Yes, ma'am. Not like, no.
Sideways.
Oh, I'm all the way across you. Yes.
You're going to write from one corner to the next.
Yes, ma'am. This way.
That is the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
But I don't have lines, it's gonna end up looking like ridiculous.
Ridiculous back. I don't believe.
Anyways, I want a book without lines because I want to add herbs and things. And
no, I agree with that. I agree with there's gonna be stuff, but I would just stick it in there with the pages. Like I
also
a lot of them have a clasp or a
getting
string.
One of those picture like physical books that are like, you know what I'm talking about, the ones that you put pictures in and then you write next to it and it has the lines already and then it has
a photo album.
Yes. I thought about that. Shut up, because it will have everything I want. It will have the little box to put something in, and then I can write next to it, and then it will have a whole like, tell me about blah, 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 blah. But maybe I just get one that doesn't have any words. That like you're meant to then
a picture book, a photo album,
picture book that doesn't have words. Because baby books have words, and that's kind of what I was referencing. But they have newer ones that are like nicer. You don't have any in here, but I have a couple that I have never used. So I could use those.
Okay.
Anyway.
So the other thing we're going to talk about is a pendulum. And I originally thought that this was something that was talking to somebody that is not here and or alive.
That's kind of what I thought too.
But come to find out, that's sort of not what this is.
Yeah, I read that. And I was like, oh.
Okay. Nope, this is talking to you.
Like it's your own instinct or your own subconscious talking to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You talking to your subconscious and asking for answers. So I picked it. Okay, let's talk for a moment about picking things. I was previously told. Listen, this is a very important point here.
Okay.
I had previously been told that if I am drawn to something or I choose a stone or a crystal, that there is a reason that I have chosen that particular one.
Okay.
Right? We also have purchased, for reference, what is called the Complete Crystal Handbook. Okay? Yes. So that we can identify all of this crap, because there is absolutely zero chance that I'm going to remember all of these little things that I buy along the way, what they are and what they do. No chance.
Not at all.
So we have a library to tell us that.
We have a few books in our library.
So I feel Casey's unavailable. So I feel comfortable enough at this point, after having made exactly one trip to a metaphysical store with a chaperone. I feel confident enough.
They didn't kick her out. They didn't ask her.
No, they took my money.
Yes, they did.
Happily. Quite a bit of it. They did not kick me out. And so after that experience, that exactly one experience, I felt confident enough to go into another one by myself. I'm going to take myself to this witch store, which
we love, by the way.
I didn't go to that same one. I went to the different one.
She went to a different one.
Like an idiot, I should have went where I already knew. They probably, after I left, they were probably like, I don't know if she knows what she's doing. But at least if I go there again, they're like, oh yeah, it's that lady. She didn't know what she was doing. Maybe we should like help her.
Yeah.
I'm hoping is what's happening. Maybe it's not. I'm just going to take her money.
I'm trying to find the one that you bought.
So I go by myself and I'm like, I need a pendulum. We're going to do this pendulum thing. Cause I read that part of the book and I was like, oh, I can do that. Cause it makes sense to me. The logic behind it makes sense to me somehow. I don't exactly know how. I'm starting to lose faith in it, but
no,
we're going to see where this takes us.
We're going to do it.
So I go into this store and I'm looking around and I'm like not finding them, and I'm finding all this other stuff that I'm just not prepared for. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? Why do I want it? I don't want it. I just need this one thing. And I ended up with a candle that I didn't really need, but I ended up really, really liking.
We love
So
that candle.
I find
About the candle.
I find these pendulums, and I'm like, okay, it's there. I don't have a helper. I have to do this on my own. I have to pick my own pendulum, and I have to choose it. It has to choose me. So I'm looking at this rack, at this double-sided rack, and most of them are like kind of too big, and I don't want those. And a lot of them are pink, which is my favorite color, but that's kind of not where I want things to go. I want something a little bit more neutral and or like generally useful as a stone. And I find this one that's like sort of black and white, but like when the light hits it just right, it's shiny.
Ooh, it was pretty.
And I was like, man, black and white seems pretty neutral. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice size.
Yep.
And it looks nice.
Yep.
And I'm like, that's the one. That's what I want. That's going to do what I want. Bought it, brought it home, looked it up. Negative. No. Not at all. No. There is not a single thing that stone is used for that is useful to me. Not at all. In fact, using it is probably not good for me. Yeah, no. Like, okay, I was told that if you choose it, there is a reason for that. Who? You lied. That lady lied.
Well, so she chose a rainbow moonstone. And it's really pretty.
It's beautiful.
Totally give her that. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is supposed to assist with hormones, fertility, menstrual cycles, thyroid, pituitary glands, bowel, breast recovery after operations on breasts, womb sterilizations, and anaphylactic shock.
Negative. Not a single one.
So we decided we weren't using that one.
No.
That was not the right pendulum. Yeah.
So I went back to the original store.
The one that we like. The one that she should have gone to in the first place.
What?
Well. Anyways, we went back there.
And I bought this one instead.
And it's an amethyst.
This one's an amethyst. And this one's much more useful to me.
Yes. Called the All Healer of People, Animals, and Plants. This is believed to benefit migraines and headaches if you rub the forehead anti-clockwise, which she has migraines all the time, having dipped the amethyst in running water. They reduce addiction, which if you wanted to stop smoking would probably help. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Hyperactivity in children and animals, and called nature's tranquilizer. So yeah, so this is much more helpful for her. So we like this one.
So if we're going to talk to me,
we're going to have to use one that references her and will help her.
We're going to need one that's more specific to me. So I feel like if we're going to get some kind of discernible result,
right,
this one's going to help better. So the idea is that you kind of wrap it in your fingers a little bit.
You use your non-dominant hand.
Yeah, you hold it in your non-dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'll use my left. And you hold your hand straight out in front of you and let the crystal thing hang freely. And it tells you, I'm going to explain because my arm's going to get tired. That's the trouble that I'm going to have with this is I can't have a lot of questions for myself for a long time because I won't be able to do that for very long.
For 20 minutes.
These won't be long conversations. But I have not done this. What I have done is I have cleansed this object.
We've cleansed our space before we started.
We did do that. We'll be doing that
every time.
Every time we'll be cleansing the space. But that's the other thing we've found out is anytime that we are to do magic of any kind, and I'm sure at some point I will drop the eye roll when I say magic. But today's not that day. So it says when you start, you have to cleanse your space and cleanse your objects and do all your things. So we'll be doing that. Not a fan of the sage, I will tell you. I'm like, it's kind of, and I don't know if that makes me evil or allergic or I don't know what that means.
We have the door closed. We're not in a very big space.
It's not a large space, but we do have a window open because it tells you to open a window somewhere.
Yeah, none of the books have said that.
I told you.
But I swear that's like you
thing.
have to open the window, right? Like you have to release the negative energies out from
Somewhere.
Your
I
space.
mean, I'll buy that logic.
Okay, that's why we do
But
it.
I still have not read it anywhere.
That's why we do it.
Not
we
once.
thought it was real. We think it's real.
So I think I want to try a different
Sage next round.
Or like thing.
So the one that
you
I
can
was
use
reading,
cedar.
well, yeah,
like
and the one that I was
different
reading said
thing.
that you could do like rosemaries and different, but you can make your own bundles. They don't have to be store-bought bundles. I don't have twine.
I don't have sage, so.
But it doesn't have to be sage. Like this one specifically used lavender and something else.
I don't have that either. Unless we can use the leaves of a Meyer lemon tree.
I don't know.
Because that's the only living plant that I have.
I don't know. I'm just.
Or an orchid, but if you cut my orchid leaves off, I'll kill you.
No. I just trashed mine because she was
But those are the only two things that I can like put together organically. Otherwise, I have to go buy something. And if I'm gonna go buy something, I'm gonna buy it already made.
You can tie some rosemary into a bundle and dry it out, then burn it as you meditate on your intentions. So basically, it's kind of the same thing in a sense. It's not cleansing the space, but I believe you can make your own anyways.
I want to try the cedar one. They have like just a piece of cedar, and it just
tree, just
like
cedar tree?
wood.
Like
from
the tree.
Yeah,
just a piece
of
bark.
Where else are you gonna get cedar unless it's from a tree?
I'm just double checking. It's like a piece.
So I think I would rather burn a piece of tree in my office. If that's what you want to call it, a piece of tree. That was a piece of plant.
It was. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Okay.
What are
It's a tree. I said I'll give you that. Anyways.
Gracious. Okay, so this lady.
I like the trees. Leave me alone.
A little too much. So the idea behind a pendulum is that you train it first, which is what I have not done.
So you guys be a part of that.
You have to set yourself up. You have to like hold it out, and then you ask obvious yes and no questions.
Right. Like, is my hair blonde? And
right.
Is it daytime outside?
Right. So that you can establish a yes and a no clearly.
And how
the movement of the pendulum is supposed to differ depending on the answer.
Correct. We have yet to test
and it's
theory.
Based on the subconscious,
like the involuntary reaction.
Involuntary arm movements of your non-dominant hand. If you use your dominant hand, you can more actively
trick your mind
into making it do what you want. Non-dominant hand doesn't listen, and I can confirm this one
has a mind of its own.
She does not like to listen for nothing. So I would imagine that the same
travels all the way
is for the entire left arm.
Just the hand.
Okay, she's not going to cooperate. My concern is that it's not going to be discernible. Like, we'll be able to see a pattern if it goes long enough. Like, if it's going in a circle or something, we'll be able to determine which way the circle's going, for example.
Right.
But if I ask a different question, but the answer is the same and it moves a different way, now how do I figure out which one's which? And I just have to keep asking questions and keep asking questions.
And the pendulum doesn't move a different way, but the answer should be different. So
yeah, it moves the same way.
Let's just do it.
Okay, all right. All right. So I don't exactly. Do I need to talk to it? What do we do here? Do I just?
I don't know how
hold
we
it?
open this. We didn't do that part before this. I don't know how we open this. Hold on.
I think you just hold it and you just start asking.
Okay. Well, just start doing then, and I will find the part that talks about the pendulum.
Okay.
Does yours talk about a pendulum yet in your book?
Not that I can recall.
Pendulum. Okay. Traditionally, you hold the pendulum in your non-dominant hand. It doesn't say dangling. To begin using your pendulum, you'll have to train it first. Obviously, we just talked about that.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, let it dangle from your non-dominant hand as you ask it to show you what a yes looks like. Then ask for a no.
What? I'm just going to ask it to say yes.
When you think you've established a clear yes and no, then you ask your pendulum a few questions that you already know the answers to, such as, am I this age? Are my eyes brown? Then see if your pendulum responds truthfully. Once you've trained your pendulum, you can ask it all kinds of fun questions.
Show me yes. Oh, it is moving.
Wow. Wow.
It's freaking moving. Okay. Okay, I'll buy that. Show me no.
Bitch, turn the other way.
It's all over the place. What are you doing?
It's also like, see how it's kind of like leaning towards the side?
Show me no. Do better. That's
okay. Okay. She said do better and I did. That was all you, boo. I didn't do none of that. I didn't do any of that. That was crazy interesting. Do it again.
okay. Because
my eyes are watering because of how much smoke is in the room, just so we're clear. I'm not actively crying.
I don't. Okay.
Okay. You gonna go up a little higher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it gonna show me the same thing though? And we have to remember what that looks like.
Yep.
Show me yes. Ugh, my arm hurts.
Because you're high, I think. I think it's because you're not even out.
Well, and it's too high because I'm trying to like make it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't be camera shy and don't make me do this all day. Show me yes. Oh my goodness. That's impossible. Show me no.
Bitch, it even started before me.
I can't with this.
I am not. You're doing all of this. This is all you.
To me.
Oh
that is, I have never ever seen anything like that before in my whole life.
It literally like.
And I was right. I can't do it. And then it like back and forth. It was very clearly not a circle.
Not the same thing.
But the first one was a circle.
Yes.
It was an oblong, weird.
Yeah, it was not like a
clockwise circle.
but it was a circle.
But it was like an oblong kind of like this way. And then the other one was a very clear back and forth. That is the weirdest thing that I've ever seen in my life.
I love that so much. I love that. I love that.
I'm glad that it worked. Wow. I'm very shocked.
I'm very impressed. I have no idea. I'm super impressed. That was like we hadn't picked this up before today. I mean, we've touched it. She's messed with it, like, but she's not like held it.
I haven't done anything with it. I mean, the price tag was still on it before we started today. So I literally, the purchase of it was the only contact that I've had with this before, and I've never ever asked a question with the expectation that it was going to answer me.
Okay,
that's
so now you have to actually ask a question.
So now I have to ask a question.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, this is so cool.
This is the weirdest. Okay.
It is cool. I love it.
I have to remember how I did this because there it is. Because there's a way that's
under your first finger, over your second finger, and then it hangs between her ring finger and her middle finger. And
that's just how I'm choosing to hold it. Because again, there's no instructions.
It didn't say in the book how to
hold it.
It
says to like
weave it.
Snake it through your fingers, weave it through her fingers, I think is the term she used. But this is the way that's comfortable for me, so that I know that it's like it's hanging freely.
But
It's not affected by any of it. Like I sort of am holding it so that I don't drop it.
Right.
But I also have a hold of the little nubbin thing at the end here.
Oh, which is really pretty. I didn't see yours. The other one had a stone. I like yours though. It looks like a little decoration ball.
Mm-hmm.
Chinese lantern type of deal.
Oh yeah, it does kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of keep a hold of that, so that's my like fail safe. But I wanted to like hang freely, and I felt like if it went around the other way, it went too far over my fingers, and now I don't have
Clear
very
space,
much. Yeah.
to see.
So I think that's my winner. That's the way I'm gonna choose to hold this. It wasn't my first thought, so it's kind of like taking me a second every time, and I'm also high. It takes me a second to like figure it out, and I like really can't do this for a very long time. I can't ask
like
a
that?
serious
Does that mean like 5
because
minutes?
it's like I don't know, because it's like sometimes it takes a second to answer me. Like the first yes,
Right.
took a second.
Right. And no, it took a minute too.
But then the second time it answered me before I did.
Mm-hmm.
Holding it higher for longer is much more difficult. So, okay, so let's.
It is. I'm excited. I'm like.
I'm very weirded out by
Today's
this,
a
and
day
I'm
of
like
magic.
desperate for it to just not work, so that I can be like, see.
It's gonna work. It's gonna
Okay,
work.
all right, here we go.
You're gonna go high
You have
again.
to be still. Well, I want it to be seen.
I know, but
don't
maybe
want
we
it
should
to
go
be
a little bit lower. That way, there.
Okay.
Okay.
Be still. Is it daytime? My arm's getting tired.
I know. Ask it again.
Is it daytime? It's not
like,
moving. It's
yeah,
like my arm is shaking.
About it, but that's why it's not. There we go.
But that's a no.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna give it a second.
Let's try again.
Because you have to believe. Stop losing the faith.
Okay, it's gonna work.
It is gonna work.
It's gonna work.
It's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's gonna be fun.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's gonna work. It's gonna be fine. Okay. What's my next question? Be still.
For just a minute, then answer the question. Just be still, though. You have to answer, okay?
Yeah, you do have to answer the question. Am I inside? It's not.
It's not moving. What's the matter with
It's
you?
like jiggling.
Yeah.
Because my arm's moving because it's tired.
It's twitching.
Am I inside? It doesn't.
I wonder if like the window being open is like affecting that answer. I feel like because it didn't give.
No,
me
it's
back.
my shoulder hurts. Holding it up here sucks. So if you do this, if you're gonna listen to us, you shouldn't. About any of it. Find out for yourself.
Yeah.
But if you do decide that you're gonna do something like this and see if it works for you, I would recommend doing it a little lower because you're probably more likely to get a clear
the fact that
answer.
we're trying to make sure that they see, but I wonder if you need to just.
If I just need to do it. Well, I think maybe we need to like wait.
Take a second. Just take a second.
This is not okay. Like I am out of shape. I will admit that. Okay, But
you
legit
weren't up.
holding your shoulder up like that and holding something. It's not big. It's not heavy. But holding it up like that for a long period of time, waiting for an answer, is
She looked at her amethyst like
tiring. It's tiring. Well, she is not working with me, and I don't know if it's her or if it's her. But y'all bitches
get your shit.
need to get your shit together. Get it together.
Okay. So, really quick, let's talk about your book that you just got, that you're in love with, and then we'll go back to the pendulum.
Book is my favorite thing. So I loved the first book in that it was very to the point, and she's
hinted at
practical.
little things and touched on kind of a lot of different bases.
Yeah, and
but
she's
didn't go into depth.
and she's a secular witch, which is what I've decided is what it's called for me. Because
I haven't really made a decision yet.
I'm not specific to a group or a religion or a coven.
I think that we are a coven. Quit saying that.
I think we are
Keeps
individual
looking at me.
witches
Practicing?
that come together to make the magic more powerful.
Does that not make
this
a
new
coven?
book, I mean, if
Is
you
that
like
not a
refer to
coven?
yourself as a coven and have like ritualistic mannerisms that and like meetings, like scheduled meetings, I think is what makes it a coven. She says something about that in this book.
I mean,
That she does like
again,
meet
Sunday
periodically
morning, we're doing this again.
but I don't know. I guess sure. Call us a coven.
I think we're a coven.
We are two people, and we are not looking for more people.
No, not really. I mean, I wouldn't be, like I said before, I wouldn't be opposed to adding a friend or two of each of ours, but like I'm not trying to
occasionally,
do this.
but I
I'm
don't.
not trying to do this.
I don't
with, like,
want
a group of 10 people.
Like, let's
I
get shirts.
And I don't really want. I mean, I don't know that I even want to go to like one of those.
Like a convention?
No, I don't
No,
think so.
no.
Maybe
I'll go to a
Monday.
store,
Yeah, a lot of them.
and I know the people in there are probably witches, but I'm not.
I wanted to ask so bad. I wanted
just
to
go up to
no.
people and be
I
like,
didn't
"Are you a
wanna
witch?"
Specifically, ask if they were a witch. I wanted to ask for help on the protection spell. I wanted to see if any of them knew, like, before we got to the herb section. I didn't even see the herb section.
I didn't either.
So we're clear.
I didn't either. And I'm not a big fan of that store.
I like Jan's. It has a little bit of everything. It kind of dabbles in a bunch of places, but
It has
I
the
don't
most books.
like that
So far, in the 2 places that I've been.
when you walk in, it's full of all of the dragons and
that's what I don't
wizards and
have any
mythicals.
use for all
I don't
that.
want all of that stuff.
With the exception of the
yeah, we needed that.
crystal ball
Just
that
so
we
we're
had to
clear.
have.
I want the crystal ball. I want to learn how to divinate from the crystal ball, and I want to read tea leaves. Those are the 2 divination tools I want to learn.
We can do those.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
I'm like, and you can divination with your little pendulum.
Well,
Maybe.
if I can get her to listen.
Well, you know. Anyways, so she likes her book. She hasn't finished it yet.
Well, so this one puts it into much more modern perspective and much more like she speaks me a little bit better.
Okay. Does she have a sarcastic tone? Thank you.
Kind of.
Okay.
But she goes into a little bit more detail and she answers a lot of the questions that I had. She kind of explains things a little bit deeper in that she'll tell you what to use, but then she'll also like disclaimer that if you don't have this, use that.
Right.
Or if you intention it this way, anything can be used for anything.
You can use it that way. Right. Like the purple candle. Purple candle is not a dark, deep purple like we want for the psychic abilities. It's a lavender purple, but we're intending it to open up that psychic. Yes, fingers crossed. Look at her purple. She's got purple nails.
I do have purple nails.
So yeah.
I'm all about the purple this
see
week,
you taking my
apparently.
color,
I'm
basically.
doing the purple thing.
I love it.
I'm also, let's be fair, I'm also doing the pink
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Still. That's still very definitely a
lose
thing.
that.
But we gotta be careful with the pinks with the stuff over here. In all fairness, the
We got a pink.
incense thing is pink. If I have to have incense, it's gotta be pink.
I love that they're jasmine. It's my favorite.
We didn't actually pick that.
No,
We ordered.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about the box.
We did not talk about the box. We ordered a box, a subscription
Spent more money.
box. Keep spending money for this. My husband's like, again.
Well, sorry, we'll stop eventually.
Well, we then had to make purchases after the box came because we needed stuff to go with the stuff in the box.
Like we didn't have the
incense holder. In all fairness, that was like $3.
But we still didn't have one. We had to go get one. We had to make the purchase.
Right. And I don't have anything suitable for incense. I have ashtrays, but they're not incense ashtrays. It's not going to catch all of the stuff along the way.
Which, by the way, we still made a mess. You know, It was
You
me.
still
I
made a mess.
I made a mess. I will own my mess.
But yeah, so we subscribed to a box that's going to come monthly. And it's a relatively small box that it came in.
I was surprised.
But it had kind of a surprising amount of things in it.
I agree.
We did get the little statue of the Gaia statue of Mother Earth,
just because she's beautiful.
and the candle that we used to seal the jar that we used in our spell today. It's a honeycomb.
It's amazing.
It's a honeycomb candle.
Ooh, it does smell good, but
I
think you're
smells
right.
like something, but it's not
It's
scented.
not scented.
I think it's like smelling of the other things in the box, because it did come with a tea, which I didn't smell from the outside, but I suppose it's possible.
Okay.
And then it came with the incense.
Dry jasmine.
Which is now apparently the only incense that we are going to be buying.
That works for me. And we bought
it is tolerable.
jasmine matches.
We did buy jasmine incense matches, which the smell is, I'm not mad at it.
No, I love jasmine. That's
like,
one of my
to be
favorites.
honest, if we wanted to light another incense with the incense match, I wouldn't be upset.
I wouldn't be either. Let's just do it. We won't talk about it anymore.
Suddenly we're a fan. So it comes with some pretty useful stuff. It came with this anointing oil, which I'm not entirely sure what that's used for.
We're going to figure that out.
It comes with, I'm going to lose my page.
And I'm going to leave the screen.
In my book for a minute, because it does come with like an explanation of
all of the
what
pieces.
comes in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And the stone that I'm wearing, actually. Yes. I took out the stone that I had
I love that you do that, because I don't do that. When I put a stone in my necklace...
This is the only time that I did it, and it's only because we just got this.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. My stones will stay in my necklace until I cleanse them, and then I'll change my stones.
That's tonight, by the way.
Okay. Thank you. I actually thought it was last night, so.
No, it's tonight, and I downloaded a moon phase tracker.
Yes!
And I set it for alerts on full moons and new moons.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten a notification from it yet today, so maybe it's like tonight.
Okay.
But
I think it's a new moon.
It's tonight. No, it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to do this? There's rules for this one.
Yeah, you light
in
it.
the ashtray.
And then you put it in the ashtray.
Okay.
Which, we're going to move the ashtray over here.
Just going to burn herself and drop the anointing oil all at the same time.
That also leaked all over the box.
Yeah.
So that was super fun.
I love that there's petals in it, though.
There are petals, and there's
like stuff in the oil.
Magical anointing oil to enhance the beauty and inspiration that flows through your daily practices.
Smells like roses, like someone's grandma.
But I don't think you put it on you.
Well, I just did.
But there is a rose quartz crystal chip in there, which you don't even like.
I did, yeah, and I did not see.
Well, it's a brown bottle.
Wait. What? Oh, there's a chip in here.
Inside of it.
Oh, got you. That's how
inside the bottle.
That's why I didn't see it.
And it has rose petals inside there,
No,
too.
I'm not a huge fan of rose quartz, mostly because it's a love stone, and if you're not attracting the right kind of love, it can go wrong. So I prefer other stones.
I don't know what we do with this. I'm going to have to figure that out. But the stone that it came with it's a unakite tumbled stone. And it's a stone of urgency, it says. It's the here and now stone. It reminds us to lose ourselves into our work, into our inspirations, and into the creation. Yeah. It pushes us to stop wasting time, to take what life gives us, and to move forward with steady action and natural momentum. Which I feel is
Right.
Very
Valid
useful.
For today. Yes.
Very useful in general.
Yeah.
For today and otherwise. Yep. So I chose to take that and put it in here instead of what I had in there.
Okay.
Only because it's new, but it's gonna come out when I put them all out because apparently that's what we do tonight.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. That is what we do.
I will be honest, I don't feel any differently when I'm wearing them, but
I don't either. There are moments where I'll reach for my stone, like especially when like I'm nervous or I'm anxious.
I think that's just a fidget thing because I do
might
that
just
with
be
necklaces
a thing,
too.
But I like that it's a stone that I'm reaching for instead of just like a necklace, a dangly.
I will probably fidget with it more often than is even necessary because it's there, because it's a fidget thing. I fidget with necklaces all the time. So does it get dirty in a way, like the energy that I'm like, because I'm going to fidget with it
and
unnecessarily, it's going to like affect me.
Because you're going to wear it. I don't think it's going to affect you like on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I get that it like gets dirty with energy as you wear it naturally, but like I'm going to like sit at my desk like this.
Really like your two?
No, I probably won't do that.
I just do, even
if it
like,
hits me, it'll hurt.
Yeah, no. And I don't like to wear mine short. I will.
Mine is as long as it gets. She didn't cut mine as long as she cut yours. That's as long as it gets.
Oh no, I love that.
Although my boobs are bigger than yours, so
maybe that's why too.
You get stuck.
All right, pendulum. Your arm is not numb anymore.
Oh, it goes.
We have the jasmine burning again. We have our psychic candle burning.
And you are gonna get with the program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. We're gonna do it down here.
Where we're supposed to, not where you guys can see. Just over there.
Do I have blonde hair? I don't know what. Do I have blonde hair?
Maybe we didn't practice with it enough. I mean, it's shaking.
It's moving, but it's because my arm is moving.
And it's funny because it's saying no.
Moving like it was. It's not doing the very obvious
very
yes
obvious.
and no.
So let's start back at the beginning. Let's backtrack.
Okay. Show me no. It's like thinking about it.
But then we kind of stop moving.
Like it doesn't know what no is. Show me yes.
Maybe the pendulum is not your divination tool. And you know what? That's what a lot of the books that I'm reading say, is that we're not supposed to be going out and spending money on a bunch of things because we might buy things that don't work for us.
Right. But that's like, how else do you figure out what's going to work for you?
And that's, I think, a true statement too. Like, how else are we going to know that you can't use the pendulum?
I was trying to go for something easy that relies on me and my internal self, because like, let's be honest, I'm not smart necessarily. Like, I'm smart, but I'm not like overly smart, I suppose. But I know a lot of things, and I feel like if I could access that information, like I've taken in a lot of information, I just don't know where it is.
Okay.
So when I'm asked a question, I probably do know the answer, I just can't find it. So it's not going to come out of the face hole.
Okay.
But if I can ask me...
And it just magically...
Ooh, maybe I do it this way. This feels very comfortable.
Okay.
Holding it.
Well, let's try that.
Show me yes. She's still not playing. Okay, so that didn't work. So maybe this isn't my thing. But I'm trying to go with something that I can get clear, definitive answers from without contacting somebody else. Like, I don't want to talk to the dead. I don't want to talk to a spirit. I don't expect an answer from God. I don't want that kind of divination. I want something with clear and concise answers to simple questions. I'm not trying to do dark magic. I'm not trying to change people's paths or courses of
Routes
action.
or whatever.
I just, sometimes want to be able to answer my own question. And I liked the idea that you can ask yourself what yourself wants and answer yourself.
Right. And get an answer.
Yes, and get an answer that is your own answer.
It's not an interpretation. Like with the crystal ball, I'm gazing into it, and whenever my eyes glaze over and relax, what I see, I interpret.
Right, and it's specific to you.
Right, and it's an interpretation. That's a yes and no based question and answer. Like,
and it does get more complicated than that, and there are ways of using this to contact
but we don't want to.
Somebody, but that's not what I intend to use it for, or intended to use it for. I don't know. I may try it a couple of times because I did go out and buy it. So I may try it under different circumstances. Maybe she's camera shy.
Maybe you need to have an element included. Not necessarily a spirit, but Mother Earth, or
maybe I have to do it like a spell. Like I have to do the whole
have
setup and do all of the things and then ask the question. I can't just.
So we're learning. This is us learning. It's welcome to it.
So I suppose I'll try that. I will eventually at some point. Probably not at the moment, but I will get the whole setup thing. And I think, the camera's part of it. I think that turning off the distractions is... better, at least until we figure each other out.
Right, maybe when you practice,
once we figure out who each other
are not necessarily included.
Yeah, and then, eventually we can ask the questions and do the things,
right.
And I'm sure we'll get cooperation if I can figure out how to use her in the first place.
Well, she worked very, very obviously the first time. It was super obvious. Our faces... What? Wow.
That was genuine. That I've never seen anything like that before.
But then you lost the faith and you stopped believing.
But that was my belief. That was it showed me.
Yeah.
It sure showed me.
It sure showed you.
A couple of times it showed me. Because it showed me the same motion for both yes and no,
and
both times in a row.
Practicing is what is going to be key for it. Because I think that you saw your yes and you saw your no. Now you have to coax it back out of you again.
And we have to get to know each other.
There you go.
Before
personal level.
We can show off. That'll be fun at parties. Hey, watch this.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that was almost a success.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it was almost a success. Eventually, it might be more of a success. So we'll check back later with her.
Yes.
I don't have a name. I don't know if you're supposed to name them. Nobody says that they have.
I don't know.
You can name your house deity.
I don't know what she's talking
about. It was that podcast, that weird podcast. I'm telling you. She talked about fairies.
I didn't listen to the episodes that you're listening to. I went back to the beginning
fairies.
after the one that I did, because I sent you one, right? Or did I just send you two?
You sent me the name of the podcast.
Okay, so you just picked one.
I picked the one referring to the Hearth Witch, which is what you told me that I am.
Oh, I didn't.
And I don't think that I all the way believe that. I do intend for a lot of my magic to be done to protect and or assist my household and the people that live in it.
But you called yourself a home witch after that.
But because in the podcast, a house witch is what she said. And that, sounds kind of gangster to me. So I was like, yeah, I'm a house witch. Bitch.
I fucking love it.
But I think more generalized is what I'm going for. And I think that makes me a secular witch.
And you keep going back to that.
Because I think I'm very, very dedicated to not being so specific.
Okay.
Because not all of my magic is going to be with stones or herbs or candles. It's a little bit of all of them.
Okay. I can
is what I'm
understand
trying to use.
Okay.
And I feel, because you can cleanse things with stones, certain stones.
Yep, I did read that too. Yep.
But I feel like it's a little more effective if it's something that I can actually see getting to all of the, like with sage. or the cedar because
Okay.
it produces
A
smoke.
You can see the
And I
smoke
can see the
dissipating
smoke
and
getting
going
to all of the places I want it to go. I can see it because you use it to cleanse new things, objects and stuff that you're going to use.
Tools.
And you can see it enveloping the object that you are cleansing. So you can see it physically touching the object, and you know that it's been touched by the thing that's supposed to be doing the cleansing.
Right, it's been cleansed for all intents and purposes.
But if you're using stones to cleanse, now you set them next to each other?
Well, so when I do my moon cleanse for my stones,
shake them up like
no, I don't shake my stones. I treat them very nicely.
I'm sorry.
I treat them very nicely. So when I do my stone cleanse for when I put them out under the crystal or under the moonlight, I take all of my crystals out of my bag because I carry them in my purse, so they're always on my person somehow.
I feel like my purse is heavy enough.
I want bits and pieces from each of them. My stones are not. I mean, I guess I have a collection at this point, but I didn't before. Okay, but I want bits and pieces from each of my stones. But I don't want to have to put them in my pockets because most of the time we don't have pockets.
Or they're like the teeny tiniest pockets
thing in the world, right? And like my jade stone, which I carry, is freaking huge.
Yeah.
I can't even put that in a necklace.
That's pretty giant.
And I'm not putting it in my pocket. So it goes in my purse, and I carry it in my purse.
But that's a lot of weight in the purse, though. Like, for an already heavy purse like mine.
Yes, yours
I'm not carrying a bunch of rocks around.
So when I cleanse them, all of them go onto the plate. And it goes onto a glass plate because I want that, I don't know, niceness, I guess, for my pieces. I want them to be laid out nicely. So they go on a glass plate.
I feel like there's one of those like pouch things that like opens, like a piece of leather that like folds around.
Would be super cool.
And you like lay it out on there. I feel like I've seen this.
That would be super cool.
In like a movie or something.
But
so I don't know if it's like a real thing.
We'd have to look at like the Renaissance Festival probably.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Which is coming. It's totally coming. We're going. You should go.
Okay.
We're gonna spend so much money.
Don't remind me.
I don't want to. Anyways, I put them out and I lay them out nicely. I don't know if there's a correct way to do it because nobody taught me.
Is like a circle?
I do. I make a circle and I usually put the stone that I've been wearing in the center to like release the energy, and then all of the other stones line it, and then normally I put them out for both full moon nights, so the night before and the full moon, and then
I've heard this isn't like a 3-day affair.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, so I hope that they work because I definitely did not do it last night.
I didn't either.
But in the middle of the day, I'll go over and I'll change the stone that's in the middle. So I'll put the new one that I want to wear.
Oh, you like shuffle them.
Yes.
Oh, the one you're gonna wear.
The one that I want to wear goes in the middle now, and it's being charged with the energies of all the other stones. And that night, so it's like the center focus, I guess, in lack of a better term. But yeah, I lay them all out in a circle, and I have small and big, so I make a pattern because I'm weird like that. It's just me. Nobody taught me. There's no teachings on all of this, you guys.
That's my problem.
Figuring this out
got
by myself.
Questions.
So I just make it up. Fake it till I make it. That's how we're gonna roll with this. Yeah. So that's my nightly, like what I do. And so when I cleanse them, they all go out. They all go out, not just the one I've been wearing. You might just do the one you've been wearing.
That you should cleanse them all at the same time. Everybody's just like a load of laundry.
Everybody gets washed all at the same time.
You just throw all these clothes in together. You don't wash one article of clothing at a time.
That's fair. That's fair. But you're not wearing all of your stones. That's my argument for you.
I guess for me specifically, in all fairness, my stones are in a bag in my office in a bucket with a bunch of other witchy shit.
They stay with the witch.
In a basket.
Witchy stuff.
I had considered bringing them along for the ride. And then I thought, I literally can tell in the weight of my purse if I have an extra thing in there that doesn't belong there. Or if, like, if I'm carrying somebody else's cell phone. I'll be like, why is my purse so heavy? And it's literally the weight of another phone.
I don't have a lot of shit in my purse.
The little electronic hand warmer thing that I had.
Yep.
I'm walking around like a Target or something, and I'm like, God, why is my purse so heavy? And I open my purse, and there's this hand warmer, and it's like this big.
So it's not big.
And like that tall.
So
it's like the size of a portable battery for charging your phone or something.
Okay. It's bigger
And
than
it's
a
just
cell
a little.
phone, but
It
it's
just
not
warms
huge.
up, and you just hold it in your hands, and it's a hand warmer, or you can put it in your pocket, and it's a pocket warmer. Put your hands in your pockets. But when it's not being used, it was in my purse because I used it for work. And I put it in. I turned it off, put it in my purse when I didn't need it anymore. And I was walking around a store somewhere, and I could feel the difference in the weight of my purse. My purse is already very, very heavy.
Mine's not. So it doesn't bother me to carry my stones. All of them together are probably a pound, maybe.
I would notice that.
I would know.
I would absolutely notice that. And I can't make my purse any less heavy.
Yeah, no.
I can even tell when I haven't emptied my change pouch thing in there in too long. Like, oh my God, I gotta empty my change.
I don't even carry
because I
change.
can't. I literally. Well, I don't carry change on purpose, but when I get change back at the store, I put it in a little zipper place in the wallet portion of my purse, which is attached to the purse, so I can't even it's not a removable wallet. It's like a pocket I open and all my shit's in there.
See, that's funny. When I get change, it goes in my pocket, so that when I go to sit down in my car, I have to put it in my console.
I very often do not have pockets.
Oh. No.
So no, there's no change in a pocket. It goes in the little zipper thing in my purse.
Mm-mm.
And then after too long, my purse will start becoming heavier, and I will notice and have to empty the change out of my purse.
No. But you have a lot of shit in your purse.
I don't have that much shit in my purse. There is one thing that weighs a lot that stays in my purse at all times, and it lives there, and I have this purse exactly for it.
Right.
And it doesn't leave, and that's why
heavy.
it's so heavy, and why I can't make it any less heavy.
I guess that's true. And I definitely don't have that thing, so it's not.
So I can't
like my papers and shit don't fucking.
So no, I probably
edibles.
To be fair with you, I probably don't need to cleanse all the stones all the time. I'm kind of becoming a germaphobe a little bit with other people's energies now.
Oh,
so
I can totally feel on that.
Bringing them home from the store after having when the lady that sold them to us dumped a cup of them out onto a tray.
It was like, oh!
And you go, yeah, she just dumped it. I mean, it was aligned, it had fabric in it. She didn't dump them on the floor.
And she didn't
or shake them up like Yahtzee.
She did just like this.
She
so
just dumped them out onto a tray, and you go through and figure out the pendulum thing. They did the same thing. It was a tray she brought out. She didn't throw them all out because that would tangle all the chains. She pulled out this tray, and they had them all on there. So, but all these people have touched and put their energies in their grimy little fingers. So I'm kind of not opposed to cleansing them because it happens to be a full moon. They're new. I did put one of them in the necklace, but I only wore the necklace for 1 day and then took it off, and it never went back on until today when I put this other stone that is also new in it. But this came from probably a witch packed this box.
Right. So that probably has energy that we actually want to keep.
That I want to keep. So I may not cleanse this particular stone, but the other ones I think I will, because people have had their grubby little paws and energies all over it. And while I'm not going to go wash it with hand sanitizer, if putting it out under a full moon is going to cleanse it of all of the bad things that I don't want, I am willing to buy that.
Her belief, though, you guys. It falters when it just is her that has to believe. When she has to hold the pendulum to make herself believe it.
I need for it to, and I'm a little closer. Yeah. I'm a little closer to believing after having seen this pendulum move 2 different ways, 2 different times.
I can't wait to watch the replay. It's gonna be great.
So, I am closer. We're making baby steps. I am closer. But there's still some stuff that I'm you know what I mean? Doing it the 3rd and 4th time, it didn't
do anything.
Want to do anything at all.
No.
So I still have doubts, and maybe that's my problem, but
And maybe that's normal. Because, again, we have nobody that we're referencing to and being like,
right,
hey,
and
did you
I
feel
went
like
to,
this
like,
when you first did this the first time?
I went to a psychic one time when I was, like, before I had kids, when I was, like, a teenager. I think it was for my 18th birthday. My friend took me to this psychic, and she did a palm.
A palm reading. I had a palm reading, too.
I had a palm reading, and it was, like, all wrong.
Well, and mine was wrong, too. Like, I was pregnant. She's like, your baby's going to be a boy. And I'm like,
She told me that, like, she couldn't see whatever line it was that told her, like, however many lines you have there determines the amount of kids that you're going to have.
Okay.
And she had to try real hard to get one, and then she saw, like, a second one, like, starting or whatever. And she was like, do you not want kids? And I was like, no, I want 2 kids. And she was like, oh, I am not seeing that here. Listen, I have 2 kids.
Yep. That's all she has. But she got both of them.
I do have both of them. And I got what I wanted. I wanted a boy and a girl, and I got a boy and a girl.
Changed.
I don't remember which line it was. It was a very long time ago.
Well, and mine was like...
A long enough time ago that I don't remember.
Yours was longer than mine because mine was only when I was pregnant with Bugs, so 14 years ago. But...
No, mine was...
I wonder if our lines change.
I don't know.
I don't either.
But everything she said was wrong.
And they had
and ended up being
yesterday,
wrong.
and tarot readers yesterday when we went to Jam.
Do you just call it tarot?
Tarot readers?
Tarot. I don't even know how to do it, and I know how to pronounce it.
They had readers yesterday. Lots of
They did, and they were
even
doing
know
different things.
Yeah, because I saw the cards, and then I saw the woman just talking. She wasn't, like, doing anything with at the front. She had the woman that had the knitting. I think she was knitting originally.
Yeah, because she didn't have a person. Like, when you sit down with her, she does whatever her thing is.
And she didn't have one when we originally
So
walked
she was
in.
just helping you to talk to you.
But then towards the end, she
And
did have
want to talk
somebody
to her.
over there. But she wasn't doing anything besides
I thought it was
knitting.
very awkward that they had these things in the corners, because I feel like if you're going to do these, some of these things end up being very personal. And
I did want to walk past a few of them because I didn't want to overhear.
In the section of books that I was looking through, there was a woman that was doing a reading to somebody. She had a client there. And I, like, felt weird going to looking at that section of books, but I, like, want to know what's over there, but I don't want to go, like, be invasive.
I'm not trying to hear your story and...
Right, like, what if what she's uncovering or talking about or telling you is personal, and the inside of a bookstore just doesn't seem like the appropriate place for that. I feel like you need, like, a private area. Or, like, you shut the
bookstore down for that time frame, and it's only
and you make an appointment or something.
And
well, I think the idea was, like, to bring in more customers or something, because they did have, like, a board out front.
Oh, I did not even see the board out front.
Yeah, I did, because I was sitting there waiting for somebody.
I was in traffic, okay? It was terrible. Every red light, you guys.
But I don't believe so much in somebody else telling me things about myself and what is coming or what has happened or whatever. You know, a massage therapist can tell you things about yourself that nobody else can. I went and had a massage once at like a well-known massage place. Okay. It wasn't one of those
please.
Little Korean ladies. I have gone to those before and it got hella weird, but it wasn't
like that.
Wasn't like that.
Okay.
But I did go to a more well-known massage place, and during the massage he would tell me things like, you carry your purse on your right shoulder. There is absolutely zero way for him to have known that before putting his hands on my nearly naked body. He didn't see me walk in. He didn't see me walk down the hall with my purse because it had already been put, or I was like carrying it or something. Like, it wasn't
on your shoulder.
On my shoulder, because I came from a facial to the massage.
Okay.
So it was like I was leaving one room that was dark.
Right.
And grab all my crap and then go down the hall to another room where I will set it down again. So I'm not going to like put my coat on and take my, like, do all the things when I'm just going to, like, take it and set it down, right? So he doesn't know this. But he tells me I carry my purse on my right shoulder. Well, the reason he knows that is because my
Your
hips
is out of
are
whack.
are out of whack because of the lean, because of where I carry. What? Then he tells me, you have a desk job, don't you? You sit at a desk for work.
And you're like, what the fuck?
Now, why on earth do you know that? Because apparently at the back of your thigh, you will develop something similar to a callus, but for the muscle.
Oh. I'm glad I'm standing at you.
It's not bad. It doesn't do anything. They can work it out during the massage. It's not a big deal. It doesn't mean anything or do anything, but he can tell because of that.
Okay.
So I am not impressed by somebody telling me that she can only see one, maybe two kids. I have 2 kids now.
Right.
Tell me something that you can prove.
And that you have literally no idea.
And, right, there is absolutely zero way of you knowing these things. You tell me that and I will believe you.
Right.
And this gives me that.
Now
because all I get is yes and no questions.
From your own self.
From my own self. I am telling my own self what I need to know.
What you're asking.
I may, if I start getting good enough at this, if I start believing in it enough, I may start doing things like maybe tarot cards. Because
I don't want to read cards.
Because the chances, like, I think of it like a deck of cards, and the chances that you are going to get certain cards, and if you get that certain card, it was meant for you. But that has to be proven as well. Because my previous experience with purchasing something that was supposed to have been meant for me if I pick it, didn't go so well.
Right.
So, and I realized that, magic's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, blah, 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 blah. But if I'm supposed to believe that the card that I drew is what it really is, there has to be sort of a foolproof way of getting that done, of accomplishing that, and getting to that point. And that's what I need to find out is, like, what's the failure rate here? Because we're not looking so great.
If we would have stopped after the first one, I'd have been fine.
If I would have stopped what? No, I mean picking it.
With your pickings.
Yeah, because I was drawn to the rainbow moonstone.
Yeah.
That I absolutely did not need in any way. Not in any way. There was not one single thing on that list that applies to me, or that I even want. But I didn't go to the wrong store. The stone means the stone means the stone. So even if I had they had another rainbow moonstone at the other store that we went to because I saw it and I was like, oh, I would have picked that here too. Because I really like it.
Okay.
But I can't have it.
You don't need it. You can have it. You don't need it.
Okay. I don't need it. But that was the point, was
to utilize
if I pick it, or if I'm drawn to it, then I need it. I do not need those things. Like, it's not that I just don't want to need them.
Well, and like, you struggled with picking the pendulum this time, too.
Because I didn't want to pick wrong.
So maybe the pendulum is wrong. Maybe picking the pendulum is the wrong divination for you. Even though you wanted to learn
Like, I shouldn't have.
Like, you shouldn't be trying to practice this. You shouldn't be trying to learn it. It's not going to.
So how do you figure out what to learn? Keep making purchases that are useless?
Keep practicing with this and seeing if it does work. If it doesn't work after a few times, after you working with it in different circumstances that you put it through, if it still doesn't work, then you move on. And then we have a crystal ball. And we work on the crystal ball. Because that's the next one. We already have that one. I want to do tea leaves, but why are we going to go buy tea leaves when I have a crystal ball? And I want to see if I can use that. Otherwise, it's just for decoration, which is fine too.
That's what we bought it for.
It was originally. I just happened to.
Was the idea behind it. Same thing with the cauldron. Was for just image purposes. But
I like our imagery.
I do like the idea of using a cauldron for things because, again, it's tangible evidence that you are doing something.
Right.
Now, whether or not it's working.
But, like, making a spell.
To Your imagination, apparently.
The manifestation of your energies in the universe?
That.
Okay.
But I like the cauldron thing because it's a tangible. I like using these herbs and like putting
them
things
together
in a
and
jar
building
or putting it
something.
in a
Right.
receptacle and doing something.
I agree with
because
that.
it's more than just saying words. And while you are saying words and doing that, I feel like the doing something, maybe it's just because it gives my hands something to do.
Maybe it's because we're feeling like we're actively doing the magic instead of
like
just
I'm right
letting
instead
the
of just
magic happen.
passively
Asking for the universe
asking
to
for
do this.
something. I'm actually putting something together to help make it happen.
Build that. Right. I can agree with that statement.
So I need
And
something.
I like that
I need
part.
tangible magic. I can't just
to
say
build the spells like that. I don't just want to sit in a corner and turn in a circle 3 times and
right.
chant
And
what
I
I'm saying.
don't want to be the person that just calls myself a witch because I throw salt over my shoulder when I spill it. Like and
Right.
you can.
Which we've done
You absolutely
for years.
can. And absolutely, I've done that
Years.
my whole life.
Uh-huh.
In fact, I do it each time I use salt now because I use the salt in the container that you pull with your fingers.
okay.
So like there's
You
probably
by default drop
1 or 2 grains of salt along the way between where it is on the shelf and the pot I'm putting it in. So I like take a little bit more than I need every time, and I throw a couple of grains over the shoulder every time.
And salt all over their
that alone, according to some of these authors, is enough to call you a witch.
Okay. I want to do more.
Because that's a ritual. It's something that you do ritualistically. Every time something happens, you do this, right? So it's a ritual. And it is folklore, considered folklore.
That's fair.
It's an old wives' tale, whatever you choose to call it. It's the same thing. You just do it.
Right.
And
knocking
so
on
that
wood
alone,
glass.
knocking on wood.
Yeah.
That's witchcraft. That's what I'm learning is witchcraft.
And that's
doing those things alone, you can call yourself a witch. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to stop there because I have already been knocking on wood and not going under a ladder and all these superstitious things I've been doing all my life.
Right.
I don't want to call myself a witch because I do those things. If I'm going to call myself a witch, I'm going to learn to use a tool that makes things happen or makes
you a witch.
Me believe things will happen. That, I think, will make me a witch.
Okay.
Now, is this spell that we did today going to make that happen? Probably not. Is it...
I don't think that this spell is meant to be...
I don't think the spell is going to give us tangible...
I'm literally being encircled by smoke, you guys.
Maybe you need it.
You know what? It's a lot.
Maybe it's gonna work, maybe it's not. It's a protection spell. So I guess we'll know that it worked without a doubt when she's protected at the end of the day.
Right.
But, I want other things that produce different results that make me believe. I want to do something that gives me tangible proof that I can use magic.
Like we use the analogy asking for something that we had lost. Find me, bring me back whatever I have lost, and it showing up.
Something specific,
right.
Because you can't just bring me back something I've lost. And now I've got an uncle walking down the street that I lost to death years ago.
Not like that.
Like, I don't want to just bring me back something that I've lost, and now something that I don't want back is here.
We have to be specific about it, but you want to ask for that specific,
and then what I'm looking for is now in a place that I know I've already checked, and I don't want it to materialize before me. I don't want it to be a magic trick that it's like, oh, where's my car keys? And I like hold my hand out, and here they go. There's my car keys. Poof. No, that's not how I want this to work. But I do, if I can do a spell on the fly without all of the song and dance, because there is quite a bit involved. If you're going to be doing a spell and you want it to work, there's this whole circle thing and sacred space and the meditation to ground and center and
cleansing that sacred space.
And for me, I feel like the grounding and centering really needs to be done for a length of time for it to actually be grounded and centered, because if I mean, I can like say, okay, well, I'm gonna just, but like, did I pay the cable bill? When's that due?
See, and I've been doing it for longer because I did the meditation. So grounding and centering is part of that meditation that I've been doing.
I have not ever
year,
been good at meditation, so that's the part I'm gonna struggle with.
I can ground myself in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, no.
I love grounding myself.
I'm gonna have to get better at that. But you know, if I can think of like if I can make it work on the fly, and just like stay grounded enough on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can like, okay, do this like quick little thing in my head. Where's my car keys? Find my car keys. Keep looking for the car keys because you're not just like praying that they.
For it and it shows up.
And then in one of the places that you checked again, even though you knew that you checked it the first time, you check it again just to be sure, and it is there.
Or
that's what I want.
In front of the coffee pot that you walk by 1,000 times and you've looked at that countertop.
Right.
But now it's there.
But now it's there. That's that's what I want to ultimately get to is practical stuff that I can use on a semi-regular basis.
I wouldn't mind doing that. I really would love to work with herbs and the earth and growing things and planting magic and seeing. I like the idea of putting a seed in a ground with an intention into that seed and nurturing it and watching it.
Now, are you planting flowers? Are you planting something specific? Are you planting these things because they're pretty and you like them and you're intentioning it to this thing? Or are you planting it?
I want the herbs so that I can use them. I want to plant the rosemary. I want to plant the basil. I want to produce those.
I want to plant those things because my husband will cook with them.
I want to plant with them because we'll use them. In our magic. That's what I want to use them for. But we're not going to plant the same ones. So whatever you're planting, I'm going to plant something different. I'm going to do chamomile or rosemary or things like that.
Oh, you should definitely do chamomile because I don't have that.
Okay. So I want to do stuff that I can utilize in the cauldron and use with magic, but when it's planted, like the flowers or the pretties or hell, even a tree, I want to plant it with the intention of, as this grows, so grows this love, so grows this family, whatever, so grows this type of environment that I want to create within my own self or helping with my children or whatever, but kind of a little bit of all of it because I like that. I like the earth and plants and regrowth and all of that. So I really want to use that kind of magic.
I don't mind using that kind of magic. Like I said, I want to use tangible things that we put in something, whether it's a cauldron like this. And actually, I want to get, if we're going to use a cauldron, I would like it for it to be cast iron.
Yeah, I think this one is going to end up just being a decorative.
A coffee cup. This is what reminded me of a coffee cup. It has a handle on it, like it's a coffee cup.
Pull it out.
It's
with our little feather in it.
It has our little feather in it that actually isn't a feather, it's a pen, but that's okay because it's a feather also.
Yes, and we use it for our sage and to help.
And I like that it's colored on the inside. That's cool. It has little feet like a cauldron.
But it's definitely a decor versus.
But it's like glass, like a coffee cup, like ceramic.
Right.
And you're supposed to be able to put a tea light underneath it.
That's not gonna happen.
And that's those teeny tiny little feet. That's not gonna work.
But I agree with you. I think we should get a cast iron. I really want a chalice because I want to, once I start using the herbs and the moon water, I want to make moon water too, just so we're clear.
The crystal elixir thing I don't mind doing, and I would like to try. There's one in one of these books somewhere. We need these flags, little sticky flags. In one of these books somewhere talks about using it kind of as an energy drink.
I just want to drink the water on a daily. Like I want to use.
And that's what I mean. Like making a crystal elixir in like a large container that I then like refill my water cup with.
Right.
And now I'm drinking throughout my day at work. I'm drinking this crystal elixir when I would normally be drinking water just already.
Water. Right.
It doesn't change anything for me except it adds the extra step of making the crystal water. But I would like to see if that makes a change, if that has an effect on my reaction to the nonsense at work, because I'm going to be met with nonsense either way. I cannot go into this with the expectation that billing week is going to be easier because I did an egg cleanse. That's not how this is going to work, and I already know that. Billing week is going to be a nightmare no matter what. There is nothing that's going to make this easier unless we change how we do it at work, as like the policy, the procedure.
Right.
That's the kind of thing that's going to change how billing week goes. And at the moment, we are not in a place to do that. So it's going to be a nightmare every single time. And, you know, the Monday after billing week is going to be a nightmare every time. But the way that I react to it can be changed. So I would like to try something like that to see if maybe it makes me feel better about handling this.
The drama that's being set in your plate.
Yes.
Because really, it's day to day. It's always, that's life. Like, we're always.
Right. Like, I'm always going to be met with these obstacles and these things. And what I would like to take from all of this, from the crystal elixir, from the pendulum, from the incense, the sage, cleansing your space and clearing your mind. I would like the ability to clear my mind, to actually
stop thinking,
make it shut up. If I could gain that ability from doing these things, I'll consider that a win as well. May not consider myself a witch for the ability to do that, but I will consider it a win.
That's a win. That's
if
a
I
win
can
in your book.
Make her shut
that's
up.
Fair.
But you know, that's what I'm hoping to get out of all of this is a belief that you can manipulate energy into doing something that you need or want in a minute way. Again, I'm not trying to teach myself. I don't want to dye my hair with magic. I will still use a box from the store. I'm not trying to change the size of my paycheck with magic.
Apparently we can do that, though.
You can use magic to bring yourself
financial
yes
satisfaction.
It may not come in the form. It may come in the form of a raise at work,
or a different job completely,
or
with the promotion.
Right,
like, you know what I mean?
I kind of want to be careful with that because I don't want everything I touch to turn to gold, because that's what somebody thought I meant. You know, so I do intend to be very, very, very careful with the magic that I'm doing, but I do intend to find magic that works in my day-to-day life. And something that's relatively simple and doesn't require 45 minutes of preparation to get to, and then,
or
you know,
casting
a spell to regulate my body temperature before I cast a spell. I don't want to have to drive. There's one I actually highlighted in this book that was like, an effective way of grounding yourself is or if you have too much energy, like to release energy, you go and you sit by a tree and you sit on the grass and you put your hands down on the grass next to you by this tree and you release the energy back into Mother Earth because she can take it.
Do you know, where do you find a tree and grass at the same place in here?
Not here.
You'd have to drive like 2 hours to find a tree and grass. Because you could find a tree, somebody gonna call you crazy, but you can find a tree here.
It'll be a fucking palm tree.
Right.
Palo Verde tree.
It's not gonna be on grass, I promise you.
It's not on grass. I have a tree, I have a palm tree. But it's on rocks, which is covered by a layer of that stuff that you put underneath it, that plastic black
tarpy thing?
Stuff underneath the rocks to prevent the weed from growing, the weeds from growing up underneath it. But it doesn't work because I still have weeds, because I got a notice about them. And then there's dirt. But it's not soil.
Hell, even if I go to a park here and I can find grass, there's not a tree. There's not a tree inside.
It's going to be like a Charlie Brown tree.
And it's not
like a little
green
stick.
Grass. Like
no, it's probably dying grass.
Right. You say grass and I think
like a rolling
green
plain.
Grass.
Yeah, we don't have that here.
That's not here.
So I cannot ground myself by going, I can't. It's not grounding. I can't release my energy back to Mother Earth because it has to go through concrete first, or rocks and plastic crap underneath it, and then the hard ass dirt. Like the dirt that we have is not. This is like desert. Like it's earth, but it's not. It's like impenetrable earth.
That's what it is. Red brick dirt.
I don't think we have that here, but it is definitely
really close to
trying to
that.
dig through a
No.
brick is what it feels like, trying to get through it. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, if I have excess energy, I'm going to have to go, like, clean a house or something, because I can't release it back to Mother Earth if that's the only way to do it.
But
But
if we have
to find a practical way to do things is the goal
and
here.
if we have a garden and releasing your energy into Mother Earth means going out and gardening for 20 minutes, then that is something that you could do in a
maybe.
sense.
But we'll find out. We'll stick around. We're learning. You're
learning,
not.
What? Yeah.
You're learning that we are probably doing it wrong.
You're learning not to follow us. Just watch.
That's, yeah. I feel like I cannot say it enough. We are not teaching you. We are teaching us. They are teaching us, and they don't know that they are.
You're
and
just
if they
along
did,
for the ride.
they probably would regret it. This is
You were
not
just along for the ride.
teach. This is teach me how to be a witch, not teach you.
No.
Don't listen to us. We are probably wrong.
We are practicing.
Outside of that, enjoy your week.